Gold is headed to $3,600 an ounce, $3,600 an ounce. Silver is headed toward $42 an ounce. Our government has stolen the money. They taxed us, saying, we'll pay you. I don't think a lot of us are going to get the money. They stole it from us. That right there should cause people to say, we're done with the federal government. You stole $175 trillion. Did I say million? Trillion. $175 trillion you stole. And you can't pay it back without debasing the currency, which is even a bigger problem.
Recently, Elon Musk called Social Security the, quote, biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Donald Trump asserts the program is just fine so long as Democrats do not get their grubby little paws on it. Meanwhile, the chief actuary of Social Security says it will be bankrupt in just 7 years.
Social Security and Medicare are now underfunded by $175 trillion. That's with a T.
There's 60 to $70 trillion in retirement money. And if they nationalize it, where the government takes over all of our hard dollars and issues a soft dollar credit theoretically into Social Security, guess what? You no longer have any say-so on your retirement dollars, and reality is that you have no beneficiary. So your family's cut out, you have no access to your money. I've been looking at gold at $6,000 to $7,000 an ounce before Trump leaves office. This is not something that's going to happen over the next 5 years. It's happening over the next 12 months. And either you tune in and pay attention, and I've said this with you, Brandon, at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and 2 weeks ago. And that is either you start protecting yourself now or you pay me more money later and get less gold. And America's becoming rich enough to rent. You're having companies like BlackRock and other entities buying houses and new housing production so they can rent it out so people can afford to rent a nice home.
Joining me now is Michael Weiner. We got a lot of breaking news tonight, economically speaking. Of course, you know probably by now, gold is headed to $3,600 an ounce, $3,600 an ounce. And silver, excuse me, I get so choked up about it. Silver is headed toward $42 an ounce. So gold is headed to $3,600 an ounce. Silver is headed to $42 an ounce. Now, folks, I said it on radio today. For so many years, you guys know I've been talking about gold and silver, gold and silver, gold and silver. I started buying it in 1993 when I was like, 24 years old, 23 years old, wherever I was. Because I was reading Larry Burkett and these other articles. And here we are. And I want to talk to you today about what's coming and the $175 million that is owed to the Social Security Trust Fund. Our government has stolen the money. They taxed us, saying, we'll pay you. I don't think a lot of us are going to get the money. They stole it from us. That right there should cause people to say, we're done with the federal government. You stole $175 trillion. Did I say million? Trillion. $175 trillion you stole. And you can't pay it back without debasing the currency, which is even a bigger problem. Now they're talking about Fed rate cuts. Now, of course, they're talking about declaring a housing emergency. But first, I want to play a little bit here from Peter, I don't know how you say his name, Onay, Dr. Peter Onay. Listen to this.
Stayed well below 0.1.
Social Security is going bankrupt. Can I play this line? Am I clear on all my lines, guys? Do I have audio playing somewhere? Let's see if that'll cut it right there. How about now? We good? That was it. It's always that one. All right, let's go to the clip now that I've got my computer all squared away. Listen to this, folks. We're bringing on Michael Weiner. We got some shocking stuff to talk to you about. Or you can keep ignoring it, which I don't think most of you are. But remember how many people ignored me when I was telling them about gold and silver and where it was going the last 20 years. And here we are. But it's going to go higher. Here we go. Listen to this. And here's why, in part, it's going to go higher.
Last week, Social Security turned 90. Will it survive another decade? Recently, Elon Musk called Social Security the, quote, biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Donald Trump asserts the program is just fine so long as Democrats do not get their grubby little paws on it. Meanwhile, the chief actuary of Social Security says it will be bankrupt in just 7 years. So which is it, 7 years of Ponzi or 90 years so long as Republicans are in charge? The key here is Social Security bankruptcy does not mean what most people think. Does not mean the checks end and grandma eats the cat food. It simply means the so-called Social Security Trust Fund is exhausted and the program starts losing money every year. So the trust fund is the stockpile of U.S. Treasuries built up over the past 90 years while people were paying into Social Security, but not yet retired. That's the Ponzi part of it. The trust fund peaked in 2020 at nearly $3 trillion, and since then it's been losing about $100 billion a year. But it's now expected to accelerate and run out in just 7 more years. That would mean nearly $3 trillion lost in just 12 years under Democrats and Republicans. Of course, the kicker is the trust fund is already gone because there's nothing in there but IOUs, government debt. As in, every dollar of surplus in Social Security was already spent by Congress and replaced with an IOU. And when those IOUs run out, when Social Security is bankrupt, it simply recognizes reality. The money is long gone. What happens then? In theory, they could cut benefits. A 20% cut would stabilize the program. Or they could hike taxes. Democrats have long argued to subject all income to 15% Social Security and Medicare taxes. They could even raise the retirement age again, which Reagan did in the 1980s, taking it from 65 to 67. Of course, in reality, they will do none of these things. Instead, they will take the path of least resistance and just let Social Security losses roll as fresh new deficit on top of the 1.6 trillion plus deficits we are currently running. And these will be large. The Congressional Budget Office estimates $6.3 trillion in Social Security deficits in the first 10 years after bankruptcy, and then almost doubling every decade after that. Now, these losses go on top of regular deficits, which CBO projects at roughly $2 trillion in that first decade every single year. That all takes us to a cool $2.5 trillion in deficits as far as the eye can see, until the great paper money Ragnarok, when gold and Bitcoin shall inherit the earth. So what's next? Brought to you by...
All right, so there you go. And now, where are we at in total losses? He's saying 175 trillion in this clip here. Listen to this.
In case you were thinking of retiring someday, there's some bad news from Janet Yellen. Social Security and Medicare are now underfunded by $175 trillion. That's with a T.
All right. Now, that was obviously a clip from a little bit ago. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Michael Weiner by phone. Michael, welcome. Thanks for being with us tonight. What do you make of what we just played? Because it seems to me he's saying they're going to have to add more deficits, which means create more digits to make good on these promises, right?
Absolutely right. And you and I have been talking about this for years. I said years ago that they robbed from Peter to pay Paul. They borrow the money against the Social Security accounts. They use it, and the Democrats are the ones who started this whole thing. And they borrow it, they use it, and then they take the new money that comes in to try to pay the people who are out. And at the end of the day, understand the fact, the only people recognizing this at the present time is Trump and Basant. They have to. They're paying attention to it. And the reality is that the only solution to this is generating enough money coming into the country where we can leave the Social Security account alone. But that's going to take time. And, some of it you could say might have come through tariffs, but, right now you got the Democrats fighting tariffs, which is, like they're fighting crime. But reality is Social Security is broke. It has been broke. They borrow all the time from it still. And we've got to sit back and think to ourselves when we're receiving our paycheck and you get a pay stub and you see the money that goes to your Social Security, the SS, and you say to yourself, I'm putting that away. I'm wondering right now that young man or young woman who might be 21 years of age that's starting to get paychecks might not understand that if we don't clean our act up, sometime in the future, they're not going to get a darn thing.
I'm not going to get a darn thing. I'm 56. I mean, I'm not getting anything. Now, wait a minute. Have you started drawing Social Security yet?
Well, I'm over 1,000 years old, but at the end of the day, and all kidding aside, not yet. But I can say that if I was anybody right now of any age, I'm going to look into it because I'm over 65 now because of the fact that you might as well start taking them before you can't. And the reality is we've talked about something that ties into this, and that's the nationalizing of retirement plans. There's 60 to 70 trillion dollars in retirement money. And if they nationalize it, where the government takes over all of our hard dollars and issues a soft dollar credit theoretically into Social Security, guess what? You no longer have any say-so on your retirement dollars. And reality is that you have no beneficiary. So your family's cut out. You have no access to your money. Obama tried it in 2011, called the GRP plan, the Government Retirement Plan. They keep talking about it like we're going to protect your retirement dollars, when in fact all they want to do is get their greedy little hands on our retirement dollars. That's why President Reagan created gold IRAs, because it's a physical asset that they don't have direct access to. Any paper asset you own, including your Social Security account. Here's your best example. Your Social Security account. The government could take it. You can't do anything about it. You don't think they can shut down the trading on the SEC can and grab up stocks or mutual funds with a snap of a finger? Of course they can. They can't touch physical assets without going in and emancipating it, which takes 90 days in court. And that's why gold IRAs are so important.
Okay.
But Social Security is what it is.
So we're now today at gold headed toward $3,600 an ounce. Silver headed toward $42. It's all over the news. So ABC News, everybody's talking about it today. Wait a minute. Why is this such news? We've been telling people for years that this was going to happen.
And months ago, I told people, I remember you'd asked me on the show in April when it hit 3,500. You said, what did I think? And 3,400. And I said, gold's going to hit 4,000 by year end. This is the dead time of the year. But right now, people are calling into Weston and I say, God, you're right. Well, my prediction is still 4,000, 4,200 year end. A lot of people don't think I'm crazy right now. And quite frankly, without being somewhat arrogant, I've been right for the last 3 years. And
no, you've been right. You've been right your whole life. Come on, don't be so humble. You've been right your whole life, Michael.
Right. But in all due respect, it's just common sense. We are going to have a new economic world coming in around us. We've talked about it. It's all going to be digital. It's happening right around you right now. And either you pay attention to it and realize that all of these countries that are buying, that are changing to digital, including China and all their buddies, India and Russia and the rest, and all these other countries, England, the European Union going digital, and now we going digital with the Genius Act and the staple coin, understand the fact it's going to happen. And every single one of these countries are embracing gold in their central banks to give stability to the craziness that's going to go on. We are telling you to create your own financial stability and have gold in your control or in your IRA where you at least have an anchor against it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm showing a chart showing gold from 1940, basically, to today. And it really started taking off in 2021, which is when they, of course, were pumping money due to COVID. It's just gone up like a rocket ship since 2021. Mm-hmm. I mean, $1,600 an ounce. And then we were talking till we were blue in the face about it, right? Telling people to get ready. And then 2,000, and then 2,400, and 2,800, and then 3,200. Here we are. Now, I'm guessing people think, oh, it's too high. I've missed it. It's too late. But you got people like Jim Rickards and others saying 10,000, 20,000 an ounce. Is that? I mean, some people thought he was talking too high a number at 5,000 an ounce. And that was, 10 years ago or more. And now we're headed toward 3,600. Is $10,000 an ounce off the table, Michael?
No, I don't think it's off the table. But Jimmy's a great guy. He's more of a currency guy than a gold guy. But he became a gold guy because they pay him for it. The reality is is I've been looking at gold at $6,000 to $7,000 an ounce before Trump leaves office. Gold is no longer a
So
commodity.
you're saying that
ladies
people
and
could
gentlemen.
still double their investment yet?
Oh, absolutely. But it's not about doubling your money. It's about what's going to happen. You got to remember, Brandon, when there's gold is moving this way, something's happening another way. And if you don't pay attention, it's not just about making money. What we talk about at Worldview Weekend, from everything from the food that you try to protect people with, to the water you try to protect people with, to the phones you try to protect people with, this is protecting your financial stability. It's giving you individuality, which is a very hard thing to have. And that's what we preach constantly here at Worldview. But, you know, ultimately, in my lifetime, I've seen gold go up 86 times in value. 86 times in value. So for somebody to tell me that gold could triple and go to 10,000, no worries.
Okay, so
But I just personally believe 7,000 by the time Trump leaves.
okay, so let's talk about why is gold going up? Why is gold going up? Does it have to do with the debasement of the U.S. dollar? And is it being debased because they're creating digits? Maybe not printing so much paper money, but are they creating digits and creating credit? Is the government taking on more debt? What is it that's making the dollar go down?
Well, first of all, what made the dollar go down is what's gone on with they just printed so much of it.
Oh, wait a minute. Printed.
You know,
Look what I have today. You mean they were printing? Yeah, right? You guys, I got a new gun. You can't see me, but I have a gun, and I push a button, and $100 bills go flying out of the gun. That's right. That's what they're doing. They're printing. Have you seen these before? I bought one of these. Have you seen one of these?
No, I haven't.
Oh, look, go on a wide shot. I got $100 bills all over the place, folks, because they're just printing the money. Because they don't care. They don't care. So that's what they're doing.
Get one of those.
You need to get one of these because this is what they're doing. They're just printing the money, whether it's physical, paper printed, or digital.
What they did, and the easy way to understand it, where it can make it down to the common folk level, is you play Monopoly, and all of us, most people in our lifetime have played a Monopoly game.
Yep.
And when you run out of money in the bank there, you're out of money, the game's over. What they've done in the United States is when they play all that money in that Monopoly game, they just get another game, steal all the money out of that, and get another game and take all the money out of that.
So what's the next game? What's the next game? Stable coins?
Stable coins is the situation where the government is going to sit back and issue a currency based on staple coins, which ultimately they're not. Everybody was worried they're going to change the money and grab up the currency. They're not going to do that. What they're going to do is create the stable coin, which they have to combat the rest of the world. We've got to pay attention to this, but there's going to be a devaluation and a revaluation and a debasement, as you call it. They're going to turn around and say, okay, those staple coins, which are equal to a U.S. dollar, now have gone and decreased by 20%. And that's your devaluation. So you'll have less staple coins against the dollar. And then ultimately, they're going to revalue it. And then literally after a while, your dollars will just disappear. People will stop even carrying them. You've got some young people who never even carry any paper money anymore. So it's just going to be an attrition. But it's going to, the problem that people, and that we've talked about here, Brandon, is people got to understand, this is not something that's going to happen over the next 5 years. It's happening over the next 12 months. And either you tune in and pay attention, and I've said this with you, Brandon, at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and 2 weeks ago. And that is either you start protecting yourself now or you pay me more money later and get less gold. That's
all right. Or that's all. Now let's go to, by the way, if you want to get, I'm going to talk about emergency housing declaration. Emergency, housing emergency declaration by the Trump administration. What does that mean? What does that look like? You can get your free packet on how to put gold into your IRA or take physical possession. Numismatic, 1933 and older, gives you complete privacy by law. They do not have to report it to the federal government what you bought. So you could look at taking some some assets off the bullseye. I don't give financial advice. I give financial opinion. So do your due diligence. You can get the packet at worldviewgold.com, worldviewgold.com. or by texting Wes Peters at 602-558-8585. Wes doesn't join us much anymore because, frankly, he's too busy. I talked to him 3 times on Saturday. He's too busy getting all the information out to you guys because the phone lines are melting down over there, they tell me. Michael has got like 20 appointments to talk to some of you guys already. So they're very busy because now that it's hit $3,500, now people are calling. I just wish they had called when it was $1,600 and $1,700, but Michael says it's going to go to $7,000 before Trump leaves office, or about the time he leaves. Yeah, that's a projection. We're not not telling you that's exactly what's going to happen. But how many of you think they're just going to stop printing money? I mean, do you? Do you, Logan?
No. Either we start paying attention to ourselves. Some people are being lulled to sleep because they just don't think it'll ever happen until it does. We talked months at the beginning of the year about that old Twilight Zone show where these people built this fallout shelter and everybody laughed at them for building this fallout shelter. I think you played it up there. And then at one point in time, when the bomb was coming, everybody was trying to break into their fallout shelter. Right now, Wes and I, one thing I could say to all the people, yes, we have a lot of appointments, but even with our clients, there isn't one person that we have that can't say that we don't get back to them. We don't care how long it takes, how much of a day that we put in. We call you back no matter if you spend $100 or $100 million. It doesn't matter. Everybody, we stay on top of where you're at. But this is a period of time you need to be one-dimensional. If you call us, we will get you taken care of and helped and balanced. But it's up to you, okay? It's up to you.
All right, let's talk about the housing emergency, because apparently the Trump administration is talking about declaring a housing emergency. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, first of all, the housing market has actually gone out of control. The opposite way when we saw the collapse of the housing market and you could buy a house for a song, it's gone the other way and has driven the housing market up to some ridiculous levels. And people who used to buy houses to live in are all buying them to make money, and they've run up the housing prices where an average median price home is now over $400,000. So as we've talked about, Brandon, and I said it on a show months ago, and I said it recently, America's becoming rich enough to rent. You're having companies like BlackRock and other entities buying houses and new housing production so they can rent it out so people can afford to rent a nice home. The only way you're going to be able to buy a nice home in this country is twofold. Number one, get the interest rates down, which needs to happen. But number two, stop the people who are legitimately forcing fake prices up on these houses at ridiculous levels. And I blame that on two people, the real estate companies and the appraisers. They have shot up houses so much that it's become so difficult for people even to think about affording a house. That's when this communist type of attitude is we're going to take care of you looks so good. So I think the smart thing to do is to rent until there is a proper market in front of you where you can buy at a very good rate, because this Trump is trying to do something to either, number one, bring down interest rates, or number two, have some reality with some of these realtors. How many realtors drive around in Chevys? They all drive around in Mercedes. Half of them are making a ton of money, destroying the golden goose ultimately for themselves.
Okay, so let me ask you, though, about the housing market. We talked the other day, we did a research on 38% of Americans own their home, which was really shocking. But at some point, prices are going to have to go up. The way gold and silver have gone up, shouldn't other hard assets, land and houses, also be going up just based on sheer debasement of the currency, that it's a hard asset?
Absolutely, but I'm just saying that some of them are going up beyond reason. That's all. I mean, a housing market should go up. Land values should go up. But initially, the biggest problem that we're having is they're overkilling it. So I think that the market will continue to rise, but we have to have some sense of semblance of order in comparison to what the reality. In other words, maybe it should go up 40% or 50%. It shouldn't go up 150%. That's what's killing the market.
All right. So when do you think this reset is going to happen?
The housing reset?
No, the dollar reset.
The dollar reset's going on as we're speaking right now. It's happening around us. It's literally happening as we're speaking. The Chinese had their meeting in July where they did everything with the BRICS and restructured everything as they said they would. And that's happening. The European Union is moving forward with their digital currencies. That's going on right now. That's happening. And, for anybody who's saying, when's this going to happen? We just passed the Genius Act here. All of that involves the currencies, and that's already happening. The issue is with the federal government, it just hasn't gone into effect totally because they need to get all the bells and whistles in line before they release it. So I guess my comment, is it's already happening. It's going on around us, and either you, realize the fact that by the time you realize it is going on around you, you'll be right in the middle of it. It's like stepping into quicksand. All of a sudden, it's up on your ankles. The next thing you know, it's up at your knees.
Here's an interesting little chart. This is a website that's. Let me just show it here. It's really kind of interesting. The medium-priced house in June of medium priced house in the U.S. In June of 1995 was $108,000. Okay, isn't that something? Let's just go a little bit ahead. Let's go to say January of 2000, 131,000. Let's go to April 2006, 213,000. Then we had the housing crisis, and it dropped by February of 2012, it had dropped back to 169,000. But remember, we're still back in 1996. It was at 108,000. So again, 269,000 in 2012, not too bad still. But then starting at around, I would say it looks like around May of 2012, it starts its journey up. And by the time we get to 2020, the average house is $275,000. Today, the average price house by May of 2025 was $427,000. I'm rounding it off. $427,000. So from June of 95, 108,000 average medium price house to May of 2025, 427,000. A lot of that has to do with, I don't think supply and demand. I think a lot of that has to do with the debasement of the U.S. currency. True or false?
True. Absolutely true. The reality is all of these games that have gone on tie into the overabundance of currencies that we have done. And it's a situation that as time goes along, it's going to get considerably worse. And paying attention to it has never been more important than right now. I totally agree with you, Brandon.
And if you look at why BlackRock and these groups are reportedly buying up massive amounts of houses, they're going for hard assets. They're going for real wealth. Real wealth, according even to the Bible, is gold, silver, land, cattle, houses. And look at where the people that have so much money are putting their money. The central banks are putting it into gold and silver, mostly gold. That's what they're filling their vaults with. And I'm guessing that some of these hedge funds and groups are buying gold, but they're certainly buying hard assets. We just reported last week that apparently Warren Buffett, his company put $1 billion into these two building companies. And that reportedly BlackRock is buying up whole neighborhoods along with others. They see what's coming and they're hedging the inflation with a hard asset, even if it's not gold and silver, it's a hard asset of a house. Is that what they're doing? Not to mention the cash flow that they're going to gain as well, but just a hard asset.
Correct. They're looking at America being rich enough to rent. They're saying, okay, we're going to be your grandpa. We're going to buy all these houses up, and then we're going to let you rent it from us so that way you can live in it and send your kids to these nice schools and live that nice life, but you don't have any of the overhead, any of the expense, any of the taxes or anything else. We're going to handle all that for you. But meanwhile, they're going to make a heck of a nice return on owning those homes. So in theory, it works out good for all of us because some people just don't have the wherewithal right now to be able to withstand buying a new home. But I think ultimately, if we're going to turn the tables on this event, it's going to take a lot of time right now because what happened in the Biden administration and how they debased and destroyed the U.S. dollar and allowed China to become such a strong advocate is something that's going to take time to turn around. And Trump can start that happening, but if we don't reelect a Republican in 2028, we're going to land up speaking Chinese in this country.
Where do you see the average housing price going by 2030?
If we keep up, if we don't elect a Republican, I'm looking at 600,000 or more for a medium price home. People might say I'm crazy, but God, it was 200,000 recently. I think if we elect a Republican, it's going to go up maybe about 20% to 480. But these people have literally actually destroyed the golden goose, as it might be. And I guess we need to realize the fact that if we don't stop what's going on here, it's going to get considerably worse.
What do you think the Trump administration could do to deal with the housing crisis? I mean, I know they're talking about not wanting to overstep their authority with state governments, counties, local cities and towns, whatever. But it sounds like they're looking to go after zoning. It sounds like they're looking to make it lower down payments. Now, that makes me a little nervous because if you go with lower down payments, you're going to create a housing problem like during the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac problem. I think the Clintons helped create that. So I don't know about this whole lower down payment thing, but I guess bringing down restrictions and whatnot could be a good thing. Unless, of course, they start forcing communities to lax their building restrictions so that more towns can throw up more apartment buildings, which I know in our town, there's a lot of them going up and there's a lot of people ticked. They don't want to be surrounded by apartment buildings. So I guess I'm a little concerned when I hear them talking about these are some of the solutions they want to put up for housing. Why can't we, if we're conservatives, just let the market play it out? Why does the government got to get involved?
You're right. I think that the Trump administration knows the first thing they got to do is lower interest rates. That's going to open the floodgates on a bunch of people to buy homes. Secondly, they have to sit back by bringing down the cost of building and things of that nature to make it more substantive to be able to buy. Trump is talking about privatizing some of the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae and changing it so it has a little bit more of a business-like control. The good news is Bill Pulte, who is the one who outed Letitia James and the others, is a brilliant developer. His family has been developers, and I know his father because Pulte comes from Michigan, where I came from. They used to build small houses back in Oak Park, Michigan, and Southfield, Michigan, years ago. And they're billionaires now, Pulte Homes. But at least he has a common sense idea of what people need besides having some figurehead in there who has no idea of the housing market. So I think we have some positives going on, but it's a solution that is not an overnight repair. I think the first thing they're going to do is lower interest rates. And then I think you're right that they're going to do something with zoning. They're going to give some credits back to first-time buyers. There's going to be various different issues that they try to do to help people, not only giving them a credit to be a first-time buyer, but in the 2008 and prior to that debacle, is that they let people move in who didn't have the money really to make their mortgage payment. There has to be planning in line if they're going to do something where they offer people the ability to buy a home, but being able to make sure that they're financially sound enough to pay for what they bought.
Indeed. All right, Michael, we're going to have to keep having you back, obviously, because this is a big story. Gold is headed toward, folks, $3,600 an ounce. Silver headed toward 42. And it's really about, I think, the debasement of the U.S. currency, massive debt. Oh, and by the way, the stock market. I'm reading from people that are saying, like Ed Dowd and others, that if you think you're going to jump into the stock market now and make money over the next 10 years, you're probably not going to make a lot of money in the stock market the next 10 years. Would you agree with that?
I think the stock market is going to have a correction because it's overdue. It's gone straight up for such a long period of time. And, I've said this before, don't expect to call your stockbroker. I was a stockbroker and tell them if the stock market's going down. You're trained when you become a financial planner. They change the name for it nowadays. When you become one, not to tell you the market's going to go down, because if they do, you're going to take your money out of it.
Yep.
So what they do is tell you to hang on, it'll come back. There's nothing wrong if you're balanced properly in gold to go to cash positions if necessary. But again, the stock market is overdue for a correction. It has been for a while.
Well, and there's going to be a lot of people there's going to be a lot of people that sit there waiting to break even and keep waiting for the price to go up to break even, taking more and more losses, thinking it'll pop back up to break even. But all I can say is good luck to them. All right.
Exactly.
Get your free package, 602-558-8585, or go to worldviewgold.com, fill out the form, no obligation, free packet. As I pick up all the $100 bills that have been spewed over the news desk because the federal government is just out of control. And I'm sorry, it's even happened under the Trump administration. We've just added how many trillions since January? Do you know?
How many trillions in debt since January?
Yes.
1.5 trillion.
And how much purchasing power has the U.S. dollar lost since January?
Somewhere around 18%.
That's exactly right. I know the answers to these. I'm just seeing if you do. You're exactly right. 18% loss in your purchasing power since January. But you can sit there in funny money, U.S. dollars, and keep losing, or you can do something about it. Hard assets, hedge. By the way, even if people couldn't afford gold, you know what I'd be buying right now, which I've already done? I'd be buying freeze-dried food. I have about 3+ years now of freeze-dried food. You know why, folks? Because it can be something I can barter with. It can be something that I can sell, because people are going to have food. And if you run into a real serious problem, you better have some around. So I don't know why people aren't thinking about that as well, which they can get at worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. But I would be looking for something that's real. And Michael, I'm cleaning up all the fake money that's spewed all over my desk with this new fun gun.
Well, don't bother Dolly. She's resting right now.
She just came in the room. She just came in the room with her. Come here, Dolly. What'd you bring in? Come here. She just brought me a toy. What'd you bring? What'd you get? Here, bring it here. Let me see. No, don't make me bend over for it. Oh, you silly dog. Here, bring it here. Get it here. What is it? Let's show everybody. What'd you get? I've never even seen this. It looks like Big Bird. It is Big Bird. It is Big Bird. Where'd you get this? I bet you somebody in our audience mailed this to you. I've never seen this. She just came into the studio with it. Looks like Big Bird. Well, there you go. You can have it. There you go. All right. Mike was asking about you, Dolly. All right. Hey, here, Dolly. You want some paper? It's worthless. It's U.S. government. She doesn't even want it. She won't give up her Big Bird for it. You want it? Here. No, you want it? Nope. She doesn't want it, Michael. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Michael.
I'll have a good. Look forward to it. Talk to you soon. Take care.
You too. All right. Well, just when you think it can't get any weirder, hey, New York City. Take a look at this. I mean, here we are, 24 years since 9/11. And did you think you'd see a lady in a hijab, in a police uniform, encouraging others to do the same thing? Yep, New York City.
So I'm going to give a little example.
The hijab stands for Sharia, Islamic law.
there's different ways, by the way. You can fit it how you want to, but you could make one side short, one side long, right? And then you put it over and over around your face. And some ladies get creative. You can put a pin. I freestyle everything I do, as you can see. And then I just tuck it in right here. And you wrap it around to your quarters. Make sure your bosom is covered.
Make sure your bosom's
There's
covered.
different ways, but this is the most simple way that you can wear it.
And you know why, folks, right? Because it's in Islamic teaching. You need to dress like that if you don't want to be accosted by a Muslim man and cast your eyes downward. I'm not kidding. Okay, so instead of being out there catching criminals, they're teaching people how to put on the hijab, Logan. Really? These are your police departments.
You wanna turn your?
I mean, really, do you think I need to do a survey? Hey, Logan, when can we start doing surveys and polls? We need to start doing surveys and polls. I like to survey my audience. Can you ask our guy to make it so I can start taking surveys and polls?
We're excited to interact with the students.
Look at this one. Look at this. I got to back this up a little bit. Look at this.
Wow, look good.
Assalamu alaikum. We are super excited to be here at Wear Hijab Day. We're excited to interact with the students. We're excited to interact with the public to show them that a Muslim woman is strong, resilient, and we can do whatever we want.
Well, we can do whatever we want. Well, I would ask your Muslim husband about that first, sweet baby girl. Muslim Hijab Day, New York cops wearing their uniforms. I wonder if we could get away with wearing your cross pin and have a cross and everybody puts it on and celebrates that in the New York City. Or read your Bible Day. You think you could get away with wearing your New York City Police Department uniform and have a read your Bible Day, Logan? I doubt it too.
Assalamualaikum. Today's Hijab Day, or Sabko Hijab Mubarak or Hijab Day Mubarak, or just be who you are with the hijab.
Just be who you are with the hijab. All right.
Assalamu alaikum. We're happy to be here to show our support to these girls and encourage them to be who they are. Thank you.
Okay, wait a minute. That's a oxymoron. Be who you are, but wear the hijab. I think Annie would have something to say about that. Don't you, Logan? Be who you are. Be a strong woman, but make sure you show that you are surrendering to Islam in the hijab. Well, what if you don't want to be in a hijab? Then how can you really be who you are? What if you don't have the right to take your hijab off because of your dad or your father, and there's consequences? I don't know. Is that being strong? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. But I guess this is what's going on now in the New York City Police Department, NYPD. I mean, after all, folks, there are 6 dominant worldviews, and that's one of them right there, Islam. 6 dominant worldviews that rule the world. Now, there are more than 6 worldviews, but there are 6 dominant worldviews that rule the world. You've got biblical Christianity or Christianity. You've got secular humanism. Man has no soul, you die, that's it. All there is the natural world, the material world, secular humanism. Cosmic humanism, also known as the New Age movement. Communism, postmodernism, and Islam. Those are your 6 dominant worldviews. And what you just saw is a strong representation of Islam, Sharia, Islamic law, a religious worldview being pushed by NYPD and tax dollars. And I ask again, could you get away with that if you are a Christian and wear your cross pin day or read your Bible day? But no, it's hijab day, which is promoting the idea that's not consistent with our constitutional republic. The other would be biblical Christianity, very consistent with our constitutional republic. Because William Blackstone, one of the leading scholars for our founding fathers, was asked, what's a republic? What the divine is ruled on? We don't rule against. Well, where do you find what the divine rules on and rules against in the Bible? So biblical Christianity is actually consistent with our form of government. Islam is not. Communism is not. And yet the Islamists and the communists, the red-green axis, have joined. And isn't it interesting to watch how they get preferential treatment now by our governments, largely at all levels? Sad day. Sad day, as we are now just a matter of about, what, 10 days? No, we're about 8 days. 8 days from the solemn anniversary of 9/11. Wear your hijab day. Well, we're one of the few outlets that bring you the worldview analysis the way we do, folks. So if you appreciate what we're doing, we do need your support. Please go now to worldviewfoundation.com and make a contribution of any size. We are a listener-supported network, and we are pushing out so much content, folks, every day, every night for free. And I saw some of our bills just come in yesterday for bandwidth. All the thousands and thousands of dollars we pay every month to push out free programming. Some of you, you cannot help us financially. You can pray for us, you can promote us, but you cannot help us financially. Some of you can. Will you do that now? Will you go to worldviewfoundation.com? We have a lower third for that. Worldviewfoundation.com. Would you consider signing up for a monthly contribution that's automatic so in your busy life you won't forget? Please consider doing that. Roll the music. Let's call it a night. Worldviewfoundation.com. All of you can go to worldviewstore.com and get a pack of free business cards, double-sided. Pass them out to your family and friends and invite them to come over here and listen and watch. Free business cards to pass out, promote us. Pray for us, promote us. Okay, would you do that? Worldviewstore.com is where you can get them. All right. Thanks for listening. Till next time, I'm Brandon House. May God save America. Take care.